Good morning, good evening, everyone. I see tons of people joining in. And instead of raising your hands, if you can lower all hands. Instead of raising hands, if you can start like discussing in the Q&A section, that would be great. I'd be able to read all the comments over there. I see lots of people joining in, so we're just going to give it a minute till everybody else joins in. And then we will start getting started. Okay. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Martinez. How's it going? All right. We're close to 50 people here. So, okay. Say hi to NYC. Chat. I know for some reason chat is disabled. And let me see. Show chat preferences. Chat is it's not disabled actually. Share it with everyone. There we go. Chat is on as well. Share it with everyone. Okay, all right, sounds good. Chat is, yep, there we go. I think this is a lot better. Communicating in webinar chat. Yeah, we can check the QA and get back to the webinar thing. I'm super excited to show you guys what we have been cooking. The release hasn't gone out yet, but it will go out tonight. And we wanted to give you guys a little heads up so you have all the material and all the stuff and expectations of what's about to come before it is released. So it will have all the assets, and we're updating the entire website tonight, but we'll have all the assets and everything before actual release. So you can refer it back and you can take notes, or you can ask questions right now and then play with it later. So let's get started. I'll start sharing my screen. I'm using two screens, so I'm going to be going back and forth. Desktop 2. And yep, hopefully everybody can see my screen. Hey, Samarjeet. Hey, Bob. Hey, Paul. Hey, Rob. Sounds good. Good to have you all here. All right. So something very new you'd notice here on your dashboard is, and I'm going to show all the new stuff in pieces. So bear with me till we get all to the end of it, right? Like there's tons and tons of stuff to show. So starting with your documents. Now, we all know we work on a site, we all want to accelerate, and we all want to write lots and lots of content. That means lots of organization, lots of process movements, getting your file from your hands to the writers, to the publishers, and vice versa, right? Like there's so many things involved in getting that final piece to the finish line. So a regular document management system works, and you can also tag and stuff like that, which was already there. You can also set status on documents, but it's still not intuitive and it's not easy enough for you to manage your workflow. So what we did was, we've been working on this for a very long time, but what we did was we added a separate view, which is card view. And let's see the card view. In the card view, you can manage all your documents within a particular folder. So if I am currently working in content optimization folder, it will automatically just load that. It saves based on what I have done. And you can see this process over here. So if you're working with 20, 30 articles at a time, and you have to constantly search, find them, add them, modify them, this is a much easier way to move them. And once you are done, you can change the status to done, and it will be taken off from this particular screen. So you can manage your task. You can also drag and drop, move your task, and move things around. There's priority you can set for each document and each card. And just a basic management of your entire team and how they handle the task in your handle your content management task. Okay, now let's look at something other than this, right? So, and we're going to extend this capabilities as well. So let me go ahead and click on page for e-commerce. If I click on it, it'll open up the site panel, which is usual, like the other panel as well. But what you'll see new here is Google Doc link. what you can do is you can click on Google Doc link, and it will automatically fetch the Google Doc link and add it over here. So now you have cohesive project management, and you can, the first time the file is created, the content is automatically pasted into Google Doc, and then after that you can sync it up to your requirement, but it does the task. So your writers, everyone who's working with the SEO documents will have all the assets in one place, and you can collaborate much easier and work with the tool that you've been working with for a very long time. Okay, you can change the status. You can, of course, you can change the folder. You can add the status high, medium, low from this, and manage your Kanban chart accordingly. Okay. All right. So minimize this, and now we'll go to the first part of the editor, which is our content brief. Okay, so in content brief, and this release was much more about visualization, right? So we wanted to add tons and tons of visualization, so to be able to do certain things easily or pinpoint certain things very easily. So we started with brief, and we added a visualization of score, page authority, DA, uniqueness, words, and backlinks for all the page. And this is because you're creating content, you want to benchmark the content that you're creating against some of the competitors before understanding what sort of optimization you'd need, what sort of backlink strategy you would need, right? Like, so when you're creating this detailed brief, you have all the detail that you'd need to suggest the writers or even brief anyone who's involved in creating backlink processes or things like that. So you can easily check the PA over here. We can see the score over here is 65. So this suggests that this page is quite strong, right? Like, it has a very less PA, page authority, and score is comparatively consistent with all the other guys, right? What did that tell me? This page is quite strong, right? So I'd want to pay special attention to this page because it stands out at low price. I mean, it clearly is doing something other than backlinking and page rank related stuff that is making that page rank, right? So you want to focus on score over here and kind of understand who these guys are. So let's look at this fifth, right? Like, so Yoast, not Yoast, Rank Today. And you can clearly see that some of these guys are giants over here when compared to Rank Road, right? So this is a very easy way to kind of figure out which pages are ranking because of good content. And that's what you want to figure out from here. Okay, let's keep going down. Most of these things are same here. And then we added a visualization of your topic map. And you can see the rank from different positions, and you can click and choose the keyword that you want as part of it. So this kind of gives you a complete idea on which keywords are being covered by top pages, later half of the pages, right, where the content gaps really, and you can kind of spot, right? Like, so let's go down here, and you understand, like, look, tabs, right? Like, so lots of people have included tabs, but do I want to include tabs as part of my strategy? Maybe not, right? It doesn't really matter what that means over here. So based on this selections, based on this visualization, I can make granular selections and suggest to brief my writers. Okay, let's go down, and then we'll go to our outlines. In outlines, we've add writing guidance. So this is great. Let's see what it does, right? So in writing guidance, if you already have the writing guidance, you can add your custom writing guidance. But what it also does is that it builds out prompts automatically for each of these sections. So you can refine the prompts, and then you can brief the writer on how to write the content. So essentially, a prompt is also something, it's an instruction, a set of instructions on how to write, right? So it can be used to either write with AI or fine tune and be briefed with the writers as well. Then you can certainly share the brief. You also have the Google Doc link over here that is connected. Okay. Now let's go to our clustering tool. Okay, so this is our regular workflow. And this is our regular content optimization workflow, which also gets a little boost, right? Because many of you are working with AI writing, writing the content inside the tool, and still want to do all of these things that you're doing without going to content brief. So you still have the map. You can adjust the screen based on your size. And the chart that you have is in the audit. And in the audit chart, if you have created an audit report, in that case, the audit report will also have your page, the score, PA, DA, uniqueness, and backlinks. So it does a comprehensive, thorough examination for all of these factors for even a content audit page that you've added. And then you can quickly download the brief, the audit brief, and send it to whoever you need to. Okay. Now let's go to one more addition that I wanted to show here in outlines. Okay, when you go to outlines, we've added this extra utility, which allows you to gather search queries. If you want better drafts and you want your more comprehensive content, then what you want to do is you want to gather as much research as possible, right? So you want to let's say if you are talking about HubSpot versus Salesforce, then you'd want to get Salesforce reviews, HubSpot reviews, right? And then sort of use that information to write out your prompts or build out the content, right? So what this gather search queries does is that it will analyze your outline and it will build out long tail queries that it will then run against Google, right, in a SERP analysis, and get unique pages that add value to this research that we're collecting. And it can collect hundreds and hundreds of pages in one go. Like, so like 30. So there's 33 queries over here. It will look for unique pages and extract it. So it can extract close to 100, 120 pages on automation using this. So again, right, like it does cost search queries, and we'll get that to it later, but it allows you to gather so much information before you build out your draft that you no longer have to rely on SERP data or SERP information. You can still optimize for SERP information, and your keywords will still match up, but the research will be pulled out from the pages which are outside of the SERP, right? So think about this, like 120, 30, 100 to 200 pages of research collection using this technique can be done, right? So again, this is not a cutthroat solution, and it's not going to give you 100% perfect draft. You're still going to have to modify it. You're still going to have to treat it like a first draft, which is not polished, but gets you quite far. Okay. Now, this is where some of the editor changes. You can also change the status from here, along with many, many, many small enhancements that you'd see across the platform for copy and pasting things, for simple things like building internal links that can suggest many things automatically, right? Like, so those improvements are also part of the platform, and you will see this as you start using the product. If I show it to you, it's going to be no value. But when you use it, you'll understand that how soon or how fast you can do certain things that you were not able to do before. Okay, then let's go to the last enhancement, which is one of the biggest enhancement. And that's going to take some time for us to explain. Okay, so this is our new strategist, and it is elevated with some extreme capabilities. If you know, if you've already kind of figured out a way to consistently rank your content, and you know what sticks and what doesn't stick, you'd understand the value behind the data that I'm about to show you guys in this in strategist. So how does the strategy come into play, right? Like, so when you are creating a keyword list, you go to SEMrush, you go to Href, and you collect this huge list of keywords, right? So I went ahead and I want to give you an exact example of how you can manage this. So you're building authority in, let's say, SaaS SEO, and you have this huge list of keywords, 150. In my case, it's 150 because I've chosen a smaller silo to work with, or a smaller group to cluster, but it's 150. But you can think about, a puppy nutrition. that might have thousands and thousands of keywords that people are searching around it, and so forth and so on, right? So what you're essentially doing with outranking is not keyword research. So get that right, like, aside. You're still going to have to go to SEMrush or Href or Ubersuggest or any other tool that you use, and have to combine all the ideas that you'd potentially want to build topic authority around, right? So I chose SaaS SEO right now. But if I was to choose content optimization, then I might also search for content optimization. I might also search for on-page SEO, and I would combine those two lists together to analyze and put them. I want to analyze them all together, right? So semantic relations and everything is figured out. So this is still mandatory. Like, you're still gonna have to do keyword research. Like, you're still gonna have to figure out your niche, right? And you're gonna still have to get the basic keyword list. But it can be from any source. It doesn't really matter. It can be from any source. If you don't have any of the sources, Outranking can has its own source that can be suggested as well, and it's on par with Ubersuggest as well. So you should be good over there. But this is mandatory. So what I did was I downloaded this file in CSV. And I used it for the later processes, which I will show. But let's get into the details from the very first tab, and this is organic. Now, when you look at organic pages and rank distributions, you kind of want to understand, right? Like, where is your major chunk of opportunities? Like, I can see that I have 475 keywords in 11 to 20 rank, right? Like, I know they meet certain type of intent. They are in the top 20, right? Like, they might either need small improvements or they might need internal links or maybe even backlinks, right? Like, so I can use this data to understand what's happening on my website. But I'm going to go a little beyond that. So let's go to pages, and you start seeing these pages, right? And this tells you what is your distribution for this particular page. So this particular page is ranking for 892 keywords, and it is ranking for 139 in the 11th and 20th, right? And 4 to 10, 53. And it is ranking for 8 keywords in the top, in the top one position, right? So I know that this page is a very strong page, and I can use this to either optimize, bring more traffic for some of the other keywords and things like that. So I can build internal links for this, right? And improve page authority, so the overall average position for most of these key terms rise ahead, right? But again, I don't know which of the keyword that I'm ranking for this particular page has a similar intent. And that means that if I was to optimize this page for this 1092 keywords, I would be stupid. I cannot do that, because chances are that this 892 keywords that you see over here in 21st positions are peripherally related, and you can rank for them very, very, very easily, because you have some sort of perceived authority in that area already, and Google is ranking you even though your content is not optimized for that keyword. So you want to pay special attention to this, right? So what we did was, like, what do I do if I want to build a content strategy based on just my pages? Like, I know I've defined the niche. I've written, 300, 400 articles, and I have tons of content on my website. So I want to focus on optimizing them. And I want to focus on growing the pages, which I have very, easy authority. And I can kind of keep improving the aperture for, the peripheral topics. What you can do is you can select the outlines for let's look at that though. Writing and contains. Okay, it will not work like this. Okay, so what I can do is I can select on let's say all the URLs which have like writing stuff in it, right? So for example, I'm selecting some of them. So these are all belonging to one silo, for example, right? But they're overall ranking for like 2,000-3,000 terms together, which I don't know if I have, if I'm going to be able to rank for all of those terms with just this pages, right? So I need to silo them. I need to cluster them and understand if they have, like, what keywords have similar intent, what can be grouped together, what cannot be. So I can select this URLs and I can cluster them. That way, it will use your website data to do the SERP analysis for each of these keywords that you currently have and group them into similar intent using clustering technique. So if you do that, then you know exactly which topics, new ideas you can create and what topics are for your optimization. So that's a new capability that we've added over here, and you can take it down into your cluster. Okay, you can also refetch your data every 30 days over here, and no other tool is doing this. So mapping your volume and CPC data to your search terms from Google Search Console. So it's very expensive to do this. And hence there's a limit on how often you can refresh the data. Like we don't want people refreshing every other day, right? So there's a cap on it, but we'll see how we can mitigate that cap and bring it closer to 7 days eventually. Okay, now let's go to clusters. And for this specific use case, I wanted to show a cluster of SEOs for SaaS SEO. And if you click on SaaS SEO, we've analyzed 147 keywords, right? I grouped them and I removed a couple more keywords out of this, but they might have been outlier because of numbers and things like that, which Outranking automatically excludes. So it excluded and it figured out that there's 147 keywords. And let's start looking into now, how do I devise a strategy for SaaS SEO, dominate this niche, right? Like how can I go after everything related to a SaaS SEO that I want to cater to? So first thing first, you can see the top competitors, which have density of keywords in this particular topic group area. So you see Simple Tiger, Accelerated Agency, Scale.so. So you see mostly SEO agencies. And then we have an authority, which is SEMrush, right? So what does that tell us? That if your content beats SEMrush on a few other keywords, a few other keywords on your site already, then can you beat SEMrush over here by creating better content over here? Of course, you can see that SEMrush has much lesser topical authority when it comes to SaaS SEO than some of these other guys. And if I am somewhere close to what SEMrush is in terms of authority around SEO, then I know I can beat this guy, right? So I know if I only write much information about everything that I need to cover in this particular list, chances are that I can easily beat most of these and be on the first page very easily. Okay, I can only take a guess from that, right? But what about the rest of the matrix, right? Like what if one page has 10,000 backlinks on it? Are you going to be able to beat that? Like what if 10 pages on a particular keyword have 100 backlinks? Are you going to be able to beat that even though you have better DEA? You can probably reach up to a PA, more than likely not. So you want to now go to the next step of refinement and understand which keywords you can easily rank for. And that's why we made major data additions into this. So you can see that average number of backlinks in 1 to 3 position is 25, right? It's great. 4 to 7 is 14, and this is 7. Very good. I know. So like if I want to get in top 10, right? Like 7 is nothing, right? Like they're probably crap URLs. So anything close to 10 or 20, I am focusing more on PA, on page authority. So I'm improving internal links and things like that. I can easily beat some of these guys very easily. But if the average links is like 50, 100, 200, then you know that they have already built some sort of authority. People are linking to them organically, and they might continue to do so, right? So it might be a little challenging. So the second thing you want to figure out is there a scope of you ranking based on backlink? And what I can see is that most of these pages have little to no backlinks, right? Like, so if I was to go and check like, okay, so in the top 5 pages, we found that the minimum amount of backlink any page had was 1. Guess what? That's going to be the one that we easily replace. So that's based on that. You can take the next part of your judgment and see, okay, all right, this is going to be relatively easier for me to rank for, and I can go for this. Look at this, SEO SaaS. One would say, right, like there's so many people writing content about SEO SaaS, and there's like 6,480 topics around it. But if you were an established site, you can totally write about this and rank for it, provided you have a little authority in the SEO area, and you don't even need a backlink, right? So this is exactly what you are going to use this data for. So now let's say SEO strategies for SaaS startup. Like, how do I pick a keyword from the cluster, right? Like, so let's look at the cluster. So I see SEO strategies for SaaS startups have 52 variants in it. And my top competitors are SEMrush, Agency Accelerator, Simple Tiger, and GrowFlow for this. So there is some dense competition over here. You see that like repeatedly same person trying to rank for some of this keyword. Let's click here. And in this expanded view, let's go ahead and see this. Okay, you can drill down now, and you can get to, let's say, if this is your criteria, you can get to and see SaaS SEO strategy 140, which is close to this and probably this, but very few people have this in exact title. Only one backlink. My difficulty is also 48, and there are 4 people. I could give it 5. There are 4 people ranking for it. I'm going to easily replace one. So what I do is, based on this easy mapping and understanding of various factors that how easy this keyword is going to be for me to target, I am going to pick this as my primary. And there we go. So once you do that primary, most of the keywords in that variant are automatically clubbed together, and they are under this 52, and your list becomes concise and concise and concise and concise. So you can filter out from the top, you can filter out from inside, but you can still figure out where your strategy is and how do you manage it based on this data that's given. This is the most definitive way of making sure that you have the highest probability of ranking, is by looking at volume is crap, right? Like, you cannot trust volume. What you need to really look at is difficulty, backlink profile of SERPs, page authority, of those pages, which comes essentially from backlinks. You want to see all in title. So you want to see like how comprehensively people are covering this topic again and again on the web, right? So you have all in title. Many people tend to lean towards golden keyword ratio, and that's a good factor as well, right? Like, if that's what you are using, you can easily divide your all in title with your volume data and get to there as well. But this gives you an accurate representation of what it would look like to rank for a certain keyword. How difficult would it be, how easy it would be, and whether content can do it alone or not. Okay, let's close this out. And one more addition over here, adding more keywords, right? Like, so you started building a list, right? And everybody works with a certain amount of credits every month, right? So you are going to start with a small silo, then probably add more keywords to it. And you will be able to do that easily by clicking on add. If you are uploading from SEMrush or any other file, you can either click any of these files and just modify your data, add it into them and upload it, or you can use our own. But you should be able to add keywords into any silo which was already planned, which is already done. So what that means is that even if you have certain less amount of credits, you can start a silo and then eventually build it up by adding more and more every month. And it will again analyze it and regroup and everything, right? So it's not regrouping, it's just adding on to that groups, seeing if a new group needs to be built or a keyword belonging to existing group. That way you avoid cannibalization throughout. You'll have every piece of content being integrated and analyzed in a cohesive manner. Okay, and then lastly, we have the planner, which was very straightforward again, right? Like, this planner integrates directly into your AI dashboard. And in your AI dashboard, you can manage the task and the presentation of this on how you want to move this workflow. Okay, just thinking if I missed anything around optimization, outline titles. Yes, I missed one thing. Now let's go to research writing. Okay, now Outranking will build prompts before generating the first draft. So ensure, like, so this is what the prompts will look like. If you want the nitty-gritty on being able to you want the nitty-gritty of being able to control the prompts, then you would need to turn on research writing and go and optimize your prompts all at once if you want to, or you can skip the first draft, take the prompts into your editor, and then run it from there. But these prompts are very concise, and again, right, like they're built on based on training data. So it will still try to talk about the topic, right? Like, but if you're doing this in a mass manner, you're writing 30, 40, 50 outlines together, right? Like chances are that a few might not be great because it's again AI and you're going to have to review it and readjust the prompt. So if you prefer everything perfect from the very beginning, go to the research writing part and go through your prompts before you generate the first draft. If you just care for speed, right, and you're going to be adjusting it later on, the content yourself, you can just go straight to the first draft, which is the ideal workflow that we've suggested regardless. Okay, this is pretty much it. There are tons of UX enhancements, small, big, that you would see across the platform that we will not get into. Yes, but they tend to improve your productivity when moving between documents, working within the editor. So some minor fixes, design issues, and things like that. They've all been fixed and given you bigger screen to play with your prompts as well. As ability to add any custom data that you want in hand before writing the prompt. So you don't have to structure the prompt and ask it to read the data above this and things like that, right? Like all of those things. You can also use your templates right into the prompt writing. So if you have your own templates, you can type in / and you can use the prompt over here. And that's pretty much it for the release. That's pretty much it for the release. Also, we have integrated ChatGPT with the only writing part, not the outline part, not the title part. They come from extremely well done custom build models. So we cannot, like, those cost higher than DaVinci to build. Like if you train a DaVinci model, it costs like 1.5 times DaVinci cost. So our outlines and stuff are on trained model, and we don't intend to shift that on any other model because they work perfectly fine. And tons of work has gone behind getting those data to be trained. But the writing part can be much more streamlined with ChatGPT integration. So we've integrated ChatGPT instead of DaVinci into the front end, and obviously, which will result into some price changes for everyone in favor of everyone, and which will all go out tonight, right? Like it'll be all be updated. We're using 3.5. 4 is just way too slow. It's not. You're going to be sitting around it forever. So 4, not yet, even though it can take a lot of data and stuff like that. It's not like you're writing thesis from one particular section, right? So the use case is still very different, and we still use extensive research writing. So we're influencing the data with the backend research automatically into it, which keeps the draft on much more track than all the other tools that can. So this is a great addition, and we've seen like the drafts are coming much better, enhanced, much better than they were. They were already coming great, but now they're coming much better because it's more driven by prompts, and you can granularly control the structure and what it puts out in strategy. So that gives you an upper hand in getting a very good quality draft if you spend a few minutes refining the prompt before generating the draft. But either way, it does a phenomenal job in both cases. And phenomenal, I mean, it's going to get you 60-70% of the way. You still have to do the remaining part. But that's about it. Yep. So those were some of updates. We will be running a webinar next week this week, Thursday, which will be about content strategy, on building content strategy for everyone. So we'll go that in detail. We'll show some of the results that we have achieved using content strategy. And I kid you not, 4 pages published in less than 2 days, rank in less than 2 days on first page. it cannot be a coincidence, right? Like, so, and we're seeing this pattern again and again with all the content that we're publishing recently. So you'll hear more about this on Thursday. We'll show exact tips and tricks on how we are doing this, how you can do this, and probably see results like very quickly. The whole trick about working with the new strategist, and where did the strategist go, is capitalizing on finding or capitalizing on the underserved areas that your competitors haven't reached properly, where there's still potential to do business. So we'll look at that on Thursday and go from there. So we'll take any questions you guys have now. I've covered majority of the enhancements. There are tons and tons of small enhancements that we can even not go from, like looking at it. Like from the part of it, I just know that like I missed a couple of things on how you can man the status thing, right? Like, so you can manage your statuses from here. This is something that I missed in my earlier presentation, but that's about it. Okay, I'm reading through Clement's message. So I saw you talk about clustering a number of articles, or was it keywords around SEO for SaaS? Okay, all right. So this is like, and we have a great post that we just published today that we intend to send out with this release notes, which talks about exactly how to use keyword clustering tools. And let me go through strategist. Cluster, SEO SaaS. So I have let's practically break this down. We have 147 keywords, right? Some semantically related, some very related to each other, some different targeting different topics. Like, we have no idea. Like, I cannot look at SEMrush and say that these two keywords are talking about the same thing unless it's very apparent, right? So we don't know. So the keyword clustering tool, what it's doing first, it's doing SERP analysis. So it's getting the top 10 ranking pages for all of these 147 keywords first. Then it's looking at and seeing which keywords have at least 3 or 4 URL, depending on a few criteria in common. Now you know that, okay, 10 of these keywords have these 3 URLs in common. Great. What does that tell us? That if I write about all 4 of those, if I write about one content page and target all 4 of those keywords in it, it would rank for all 4. It can potentially rank for all 4, right? So knowing this and knowing that I have 147 keywords, I've grouped them into 30 groups, right? So now we have 30 groups out of 147 and total 147 keywords. So I can only have 30 distinct topics that I can write about anywhere. I can't write about 147 topics. I can only write about 30 topics. Knowing that I have 30 topics out of 147, what would be my next task? My next task would be to identify a primary keyword for all of those 30 groups, right? So what I am doing with this intel that Outranking is giving about my competition, about rank distribution, about all title backlinks and all of these stuff, is that it's telling you that now refine your criteria and pick those 30 keywords for the topic. How do I go about doing this? So when I start looking at the list, I start with the first one, which has the biggest amount of variant in it, right? And I clicked on it. When I click on it, it tells me that this is my group. And these are all the clustered terms in it, right? So there's 2 ways you can say clustering. Clustering is like this giant web, right? You can say there's a giant web and everything is connected with each other and blah, blah, blah. That's a clustering. But this is also clustering. This is clustering semantically related and related terms that can be written by one topic. So this is what that cluster is. This is your groups, right? So now I looked at the first group and I figured out that there are 52 keywords over here that I can target with one post. I need to find out which would be that primary keyword that I go after that would be easy for me to rank. And that is why I picked a keyword which had significantly less all-in title, almost none backlink, only one backlink, a decent amount of volume. And I know that I can, I already knew that I could, get past 3 of these guys very easily. So I picked this based on that. I could also pick this, but you see, all-in title is more, and many more people are going to potentially be fighting for this. And I have not even evaluated if one of the top 10 guys is maybe HubSpot. It just random out of the blue, right? Like it's HubSpot or whatever. It's there. So I did not pick this one because many companies will be targeting. And I picked this one because it's more suited towards what I want to do, where I can sell, and I can sell strategists to someone looking for SEO, SaaS SEO strategy. And that is why I want to write about that. And I picked one keyword. When I picked one keyword for SaaS SEO strategy, it added one topic to my planner, one topic which consists of 52 keywords inside it. And now when you click on, let's say, which was that? SaaS SEO, when you click on create new document, now it will take those 52 keywords along with doing another semantic search of whatever happens in the documents, combine those 2 keyword sets and present to you for optimization when you are in the editor. That way, you get everything that you're going after, but with the primary objective of ranking faster by finding that gap. And that is what we did with SEO SaaS and picking that first keyword. Absolutely. Now you get it, right? So, okay, once you start ranking for a certain keyword, you will start attracting a few backlink, your page authority will go up, it will start internal linking more and more towards your internal websites, right? When that happens and you have built your authority over the period of time, you will automatically start ranking for those keywords in many cases. And even if you don't optimize it, because you're still meeting the intent, everyone that's on that page, or majority of the people who are on or who have written about those keywords have written about all of them, and they're ranking for majority of them. So you're going to start ranking for it, but you will preliminarily start ranking for that one keyword which you've chosen as primary keyword faster. That will give you a boost throughout and improve your page rank as a result. So using that technique, you can then, you're actually targeting other keywords, but yes, you can then change up your title a little more and add a few things here and there, make it more comprehensive and target more competitive term if you wanted to in future. But it totally works. Okay, now let me look at a few other questions that were missed out, right? So Eric, can you talk a bit about the tool in creating content clusters? I use clustering tool that scrapes SERPs and groups keywords when it finds a minimum of 4 SERPs listing ranking for a particular keyword. That's pretty much it, but there are certain situations where you'd want to look at 3, and there are certain situations where you'd want to look at 4. And many people say 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Like that's arbitrary numbers. Provided you understand that the 4 pages which are in common, whether they have similar entities or they're covering many areas that's similar in nature, or they're serving different types of intent. So for example, if you look at topical authority, if you look at SEO content software, we are ranking at number 2, but then there are someone else ranking as 6 best content optimization tools, right? So what does that tell us? Like 2 different types of intent, right? Like one is looking for a list and one is looking for the software, but these 2 pages are ranking for it, right? So if that happens too often, then you want to look at more pages. But if you find cohesive nature in those pages, you want to look at 3, and that's still good enough because you know that you can rank for it. So there's a certain trick that you use that enhances that algorithm of 4, but essentially the idea is the same. Also, Eric, the tool that you use doesn't do a second SERP analysis of all entitled. So to get all entitled, you'd have to run a second query to understand, how many titles have this particular keyword in it. And I kid you not, like it's a no-brainer. It is a very valuable matrix when deciding whether to go after that keyword or not. And it totally works almost every time, like more often than not doing it. So that is a very important matrix that we gather after we do this. Then we also gather on top of that backlink data for pages which are ranking on that in SERPs to understand if there is a possibility to beat those pages. Okay, question. Mikhail, I appreciate it. It's all very confusing to me. It's going to be a documentation online on how to do this. Set it up in our accounts with the presentations today, as well as a replay somewhere. This replay will be available to everybody. It's posted on YouTube. All the documentation guides, along with the processes and how to use this, is also going to be with this recording. When the email is circulated, our website is also almost updated with all the new content, even though some of the tools are not updated. So keep checking our YouTube channel and look out for the email. If you've registered, which you have, you should get an email with a recording for this. As it is today. You can find those guide on YouTube. Short videos on how to optimize, how to write, and how to do content strategy. Would you ever use the same term on more than one page? Would that cause cannibalization, or would you use that to link to higher? Well, using a word is not going to lead to cannibalization. How you use it is going to lead to cannibalization. Like how emphasize, like how in depth are you covering? Like, so if I have how to create SEO content, and I mentioned SEO content strategy in that page, it's not cannibalizing it. But if I mention how to create SEO content strategy, what are different types of SEO content strategy, and all of that in my SEO content writing blog, then it's a clear cannibalization, right? Because you already have content over there. So mentioning a keyword doesn't lead to cannibalization. It's how in depth you mention it and how emphasized it is leads to cannibalization. It is not adjustable. It does 3 to 4 depending on the data that we read when we are performing the SERP analysis, and it is automatic. I know some tools allow you to modify this for 3, 4, 5. And we thought about it, but it's just more confusing than anything else, right? Like you need to be focusing on getting it started very fast. So 3 and 4 is where we are. We are not doing 5. Okay. Any other question, guys? Dark mode, not yet. And some people have raised hands, so let me see if I can. Participants and allowed to talk. If you raised hand, you can unmute and talk. That's fine too. It's a resource for outranking expert that I can pay for mentoring, in some cases writing for our company. You can reach out to support, and support can guide you more into that. Okay. Clement's question. Oh, okay. Yes. Let me mention Eric's data. So how to handle old strategist data? You will all see enriched data option. And it is charged, but it is not as charged as heavily as the other credit system. It's like heavily discounted because we already have certain amount of data and we just need to collect a little more data. So you will get that enriched data option as soon as you log in into all of your projects. And you can use it towards the end of the month where you have sufficient amount of credits and you want to use it to reanalyze those data, or you can use it in the start, doesn't really matter. but you should be able to manage that as well. Now, Clement, but wouldn't it actually allow the change to primary keyword to the article be a logical step if the goal is to move up in the competitive keyword over time on the same article, given the clustering? You can, wouldn't it? So what you're saying is that, but wouldn't actually allowing the change to primary keyword to an article be a logical step? And we are allowed. If you see SEO strategy, I have chosen a keyword right now as this. Nothing stops me from changing it to this and re-optimizing my topic. You can totally do that. And you should do that when your pages are more competitive, your site is more competitive and has, or that page has tons of high authority or backlinks that you can beat some of these other guys. If you can, feel free to change the primary keyword and re-optimize the page, which we do, obviously. The update is going up at 12 a.m. Midnight. With gather searches, if I use 10 terms, will then extract 10? Yes, you are right. It will extract 10 times 10 pages, not 20 pages, but 10 times 10 pages. So it will be 100 pages, but then there will be overlaps. There might be overlaps of URL, that you found in different search queries. So it will filter those out and make it more concise. But it will find 10 pages for each keyword. And yes, you can use all search operators in Google, in Outranking. So if you're running out of credits, what options do we have? Is there an unlimited credit add-on or something like that? So it depends. So we have 3 types of add-ons, right? We have strategist or keyword add-on, right? Like keywords can be used everywhere. To do SERP analysis, to do internal linking. I haven't showed you internal linking yet, which I totally forgot. I'll show that in a second. But you can do internal linking. You can run these queries that Paul is talking about. You can build out clusters using keyword credits. Then there is AI credits, and AI credits, the add-on, which I think was $69, it's going to be reduced to half of that. But there is a strategist add-on where you can purchase more keyword credits and use it across any other utilities that you use in Outranking. So if you're using to build more powerful drafts and do more research, you can use it there. If you're using more clustering, you can do it there. You're building more projects, you can do it there, right? Like, so it's adjustable to that. If you're just re-optimizing your website, you can use it there. Okay. All right. So something, it's a cute little feature that I have been using a little bit over here and seeing some impressive results. But let's see this, right? So you can build internal links for any pages which are ranking in so-called this 1 to 14 positions, right? Like if you have any keywords which are ranking in 1 to 14 and you not 1 to 14, but 3 to 14, and you want to see them climb up, you can do writing type. You can use this feature to build out internal links. So you can do this manually as well. This makes it a little easier than doing it manually. If you click on it, it will display certain keywords that you can get internal links for, and it will find the paragraphs as well where this keyword would be best fitted, and the page where it would be best fitted, right? So now, okay, I know this page. I can rewrite with internal link, and what it will do is it will rewrite the entire thing by infusing this keyword and have the internal link in right there. So now you can copy this and replace it at the destination URL, and manage your internal linking for those pages. And you can do this from here. It's just a quick feature that I wanted to show, but that's about it. The credits are not rollover. No, the credits are not rollover because we're reducing price as well. The credits won't be rollover. They're month to month. We already have API and API credentials. The API docs are not public. If you have certain requirements, reach out to support, send them exactly what you need. in terms of what parameters do you want to give and what parameters do you want to get. Based on that, we can prepare a custom, well, not a custom, but we can prepare a small a code snippet and give it to you that you can use to interact with the API. Okay. No, AI credits don't roll over either, right? Like that, it has also only the people who were on the older plans, they will have the AI credits roll over. But the newer ones, the plan is going to be much cheaper, right? Like, so you'll automatically be moved into those plans. If you already have a more expensive plan, you'll be moved into those cheaper plans. And so, yeah, that will happen automatically. And if you want to keep, if you want to keep your rollover, then that has to be separate, right? Like, so but anyone who's on a $69 plan will automatically be moved to the cheaper plan, and it is not rollover. But if whatever you have accumulated over the past months, right, in terms of rollover, will still stay. That is not going to go away. Okay, we're about at the end of the session here. Any last minute pressing questions? Anything that you'd like to understand anymore? Confused about? There will be detailed guides about using strategist. And I know if once you start getting a hang of it, just a few keywords, you understand how powerful this is. So like I would challenge, right? Like go and write at least 4 to 5 topics using the method that I described today after the video goes live. And I would love to hear the feedback on what kind of keywords you rank for. And I will show a case study live where blogs published in less than 2 days got indexed and ranked just because, even in some dense competition, just because of a very specific targeting of underserved keywords. Sounds good. It was great seeing you guys, and I hope you have fun with this. And yep, get some content cranking and potentially rank for more and more times and make tons of money. So thank you all for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.